It's Sunday night, it's 10 to 6, it's hockey night in the hangar as the TSI World Berkshire Bees look to try and end a skid they're on of about 6 games without a win. Meanwhile, they welcome the Swindon Wildcats to town for their second visit of the year, this time on the back of 2 wins, one on Friday night and one on Saturday. I'm joined as always by Tom Graham, and Tom, important game for both teams really. The Wildcats obviously won to 6 one weekend. It saw they're in that clump in mid-table, which you'll see shortly.
Yeah.
The Bees undermanned, understrength, and in a case of this, just desperate for anything out of tonight.
Yeah, 100%. As you say, when we see the table in a minute, you will see how tight it is once you get into that kind of middle, kind of 3 through 7. Yeah, for the Bees, it's kind of just need a win by any means necessary, really. But as you say, when we see the lineups, we'll see what you mean when they say undermanned and understrength tonight, unfortunately.
It's an understatement as well.
Yeah.
The table going into tonight's game, it obviously is the national table. As I say, the Wildcats, according to the NIHL national website, are third, but as the man who does the stats for the rest of the EIH, I can tell you they're actually just 6. They only went up the one spot. It's the way of the head-to-head tables works.
Yeah.
It always seems a bit counterintuitive when not everyone has played each other,
Yeah.
but the way it works at the moment, Swindon are 6, but again, it's November. Who cares right now? They're all on 22.
I was going to say, everyone's on 22 points. Well, literally half the league are on 22 points, which is kind of crazy, really.
The Bees are starting to slip away at the moment. They are currently down at the bottom on 10 points. And as we keep saying, a regular thing at the moment, Tom, it's the goals for column that is the most alarming.
Yeah, well, you can see on that table the Bees 43 goals for, which is over 20 goals less than the next best. I was about to say best, next worst team in the league, well, which is the Bristol Pitbulls on 64. So you're 21 goals behind Bristol at this point, which, okay, the defence is slightly better. Bristol conceding 107 goals so far this year to 84, but it's just very difficult to try and win games when you're averaging around 2 goals a game.
Yeah, it's 2.26 goals a game at the moment, which is
it's always going to be very tough.
The Bees got their 2 goals last night up in Leeds, going down 8-2 once again, undermanned, understrength. The Wildcats, as I say, bouncing back, or having on the back of a 4-point weekend so far. Yeah. They won in Bristol on Friday night 6-4 to round off their National Cup stages, which, as it looks like that, all 4 teams above that yellow line have now qualified. The Leeds Knights, the Milton Keynes Lightning, the Sheffield Steel Dogs and the Romford Raiders, they will all contest the semi-finals, unless I'm told horrifically wrong in that head-to-head for some reason the National Cup means nothing, in which case Peterborough have it all on 2 tonight against the Milton Keynes Lightning. Obviously, the Wildcats won last night, speaking of the Peterborough Phantoms, 9-2 in a total devastation that saw Rennie Marr pull off after 40 minutes, giving him the third period off, going into tonight.
Yes, I was going to say, and Hayden Levine, I think, was pulled out after about 26 minutes with Luke Clark coming in, so all 4 netminders got some ice time last night.
Well, elsewhere around the leagues, the Sheffield Steel Dogs are 2-1 up against the Romford Raiders in the third period. Peterborough Phantoms against the Leeds Knights, that's the last cup game for them. Hull Seahawks 0, Solway Sharks 1, that is in the first. Telford, Milton Keynes and Berkshire, Swindon. Obviously, round off your 6 o'clock face-off starts here in the National League. Moving on, your home team tonight, and as we keep saying, there's a lot of people missing. The Bees line up 5, Ollie Nags, 9, Vanya Antonov, 13, Marcus Mitchell, 15, Ty Cathcart, 16, Adam Erskine, 18, Preston Toombs, 19, Will Stead, 21, Marcel Balaz, 23, Dominic Gabai, 24, Dan Rose, 71, Josh Kelly, 75, Raymond Cathcart, and 94, Stuart Mogg. Netminders, we're not quite sure on the jersey number for Dean Skins. We've gone with 36 because that's what he's been wearing at the moment as we wait for his shirt to arrive. And 42, Max Wright. We believe Wright starts tonight after Dean Skins started in Leeds last night. Obviously, no Adam Ross Bottom. He's out injured. Hallam Wilson, Josh Smith, long-term injured. And obviously the other missing players are the 2 ways. Ollie Hemmings-Mayer is with Slough in Invicta. Kane Russell is with Solent in Oxford. And the Canucks are at home to Haringey. Liam Morris is away for this week due to personal reasons. Tom, we say 2.26 goals a game. It's a real struggle at the moment. 7 forwards tonight. Will Birch is the other one not missing.
Yes.
He picked up an injury last night in Leeds. 7 forwards, 16 men. It's always going to be a struggle. But a team that is under fire from the fan base for one, and obviously undermanned in terms of who they've got available. Yeah. You can't take them for granted tonight.
No, definitely not. You know, the Bees are going to want to win. that's a given. Every team does. They know they need to win. As you said, they're starting to, with Telford picking up since the arrivals of the 2 new imports. They're starting to just get cut away a little bit at the bottom in that playoff battle, and it's a big game. You know that you're playing a Swindon team who've played 2 in 2 nights. You know you've got a fresh Max Wright in net who didn't play last night, so he's rested and ready to go. There's guys missing, but you've got the big guys. You've got Gabai, Balaj, Antonov, so you've got the top end scoring in the team. It's, have you got the legs? Will the depth players be able to step up and play those minutes they need to play tonight?
And can someone step up and be a hero tonight? Speaking of the visitors, the Swindon Wildcats, they line up 3 Balling Picosdi, 11 Chris Jones, 12 Ryan Wells, 13 Sam Bullis, 14 Dylan Lipsey, 16 Reed Sayers, 19 Aaron Nell, 21 Luke Johnson, 24 Tyler Blues, 26 Jake Bricknell, 61 Sam Godfrey, 71 Edgars Bebris, 72 Glenn Billings, 73 Ed Bradley, 77 Josh Shaw, 78 Jamie Smith, 89 Thomas Manasinski, netminders 30 Rennie Marks, 62 Tyler Perry. And Tom, the Wildcats, they've had their away games where they've misfired on the odd occasion. Obviously, they've had the one in Romford where they went down in overtime. They've gone to Solway and lost in overtime as well in recent times. But this team has proven it is more than capable of tearing teams apart inside 60 minutes, as we saw last night.
Yeah, and it's been a struggle on the road for Swindon this year. I think they've only won 2 or 3 road games all year. 3 road games. One of them was in this building. It was a close game, but again, the Wildcats have struggled to put teams away on the road recently. Obviously, they managed it in Bristol on Friday night, but I think it's a big thing tonight. They've obviously got the longer bench of the 2 teams today. They've got the depth. I think the Wildcats are, barring a couple of 2-ways, at full strength tonight. So I think Jacob Minter is the one who's missing tonight, and with the Slough Jets playing. So I think for Swindon, as you say, there's the added incentive of trying to get this 6-point weekend wrapped up, which would be, I think, a big confidence booster, having kind of been up and down a bit recently. But yeah, I think it's also being able to close out these games on the road and put teams away, because I think particularly the third periods recently, and Aaron Nell has alluded to it, have been a struggle. So the Bees will be hoping that if they can just keep together, they'll keep tight, they'll have a chance to come back in that come through in that third period.
Well, Rennie Marr has led the Wildcats onto the ice. We just await Max Wright and the Bees to join us. Your officials for the evening in the Water Wings of Power are Mr. Hugh Poulton and Mr. Matthew Rose, linesman Mr. Kenny George and Miss Amy Pryor. The Bees obviously just waiting for them all to come out of the changing room. I would make the joke, obviously there's not that many of them that it should take too long. So big night for both teams. The Wildcats looking to try and separate the 22 pack, while the Bees look to try and keep in touch with the 8th spot in the playoff groups. We know it's Max Wright who's going to be getting the start tonight for the Bees, as he is ready and raring to go. And as Tom alluded to, fresh off a night off last night in Leeds.
Yeah, it's I guess it's always tough when you're an import netminder in this league, because there's going to be an expectation of you starting most, if not all games. But yeah, I think with the short bench and stuff, it's a sensible move for them to kind of prioritise one game over the weekend for each netminder. You know, Dean Skins is able to step in, and he's been around a long time.
What are you implying there, Tom? About your former starting netminder?
I love Dean Skins. He's been around a long time. I think that's, even Dean Skins can tell you that. But he's got the experience to be able to step in and play those sort of games. So I'm sure Max Wright will be nice and fresh tonight.
Well, he leads out the Bees for tonight's game. And me and Tom will be back with you in about 2 minutes' time following the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome to everyone active Slough Ice Arena. And of today's game, if we can please ask the Bees, Marcel Ballas, and the captain of the Wildcats to step forward for tonight's ceremonial puck drop with Ollie Marlowe.
we're almost ready to go for your Sunday night's main event. The weather is pants outside the rink here tonight. It is absolutely sluicing it down. But hopefully there's not that much in terms of goals this evening. Starting netminders firstly for the home side. Max Wright gets the start tonight. In 17 starts this season, he has a 4-11-2 record, a 904 save percentage, and a 4 goals against average. At the other end for the Swindon Wildcats, Rennie Marr gets the start in net. In 17 starts this year, he has a 10-5-2 record, an 893 save percentage, 3.08 goals against average, and as is compulsory, did score in this rink.
Has to be done. Got that one out of the way.
Hey, to be fair, he's got more goals in this rink than most of the B team do this year, so I could say that one. It might give me trouble, but it's true. It's Tickles producer Annika up here anyway, so we're doing all right. As we keep saying for the B. Actually, we also can say Dean Skins finally has a 45 number, so at least cross-check a quick on the turnaround on jerseys. Cross-check clothing for all your team sports needs. The Bees in their home yellow, because I keep being told off for trying to call it gold. Well, bees aren't gold.
I was going to say bees aren't gold, Joe. Bees aren't gold.
Exactly. The Wildcats in, I'm guessing it's the road black, so there's 3 kits this year.
Yeah,
I never remember which one's the alternate.
Red's the alternate.
The red's the alternate,
yeah. The white is the home for the first half of the season, and the black is the away, and then they do this swap. And then, the red is the one that we sprinkle in there every now and again. just to keep it interesting.
When we're feeling fancy.
Yes. Yeah.
So as we just await an issue with the goal at the Wildcats end. I believe there's a hole in the side of the net. The Wildcats make their second trip here of the weekend. I'm going to confuse Tom, but obviously the Swindon Wildcats NIHL 1 team were here last night playing the Slough Jets. Going down 7-0. I did enjoy the Jets trying to say that they were depleted by only having 21 players last night.
So, welcome. 21 is more than our full bench
I know.
normally is. I think the Wildcats' full bench, if you include Jacob Minter, is 18 plus 2, so the Jets are doing well if they're depleted at 19 plus 2.
Exactly. Matt Rose calls them in. We are underway with period number 1. The Bees win the opening puck drop. Cathcart played in off a linesman. Shot comes in on Marr. First shot of the game. Under 10 seconds in and first stoppage. Tom, keys to the game really for the Bees. It's got to be trying to find a way of either keeping the shots to a minimum at the defensive end, and also a case of trying to somehow get good quality chances at the other end.
They've got to be clinical. You're going to have the big guys on the ice a lot tonight. So
Britnell over the line. That one is into the glove of Wright. Sorry, Picosdi, I should say. The beard threw me off.
Yeah, we've got a few beards on the roster this year, it has to be said. On that previous point, for the Bees, I think they've got to be solid defensively. You've got to help Max Wright out. But also, they are going to have to be clinical. You've got to have this top line out a lot, and they're going to have to take their chances when they come. You don't want to be getting too much into an end-to-end game when you're down to kind of 13 skaters, that's for sure.
Balaz flipped up ice because he gloves it down. Backhands it into the corner, foot race to the puck. Malasinski able to out-muscle Mogg. Nell throws it towards Picosdi. Bradley back to the blue line, shot off the blocker of Wright. Picosdi grabs it down. Nell loses the puck for a second there. It's able to be cleared by Mogg. Puck finds way up to Antonov. Antonov over the blue line, steps over the line, fires over the glove of Marr. Held against the boards, finally kicked loose. Kelly. Down low, turned over. Cats just about clear, eventually. Played up ice, good work from Toombs to stop the Ed Bradley breakout. Played ahead. Billing turned away by Rose. Defensive zone. Jones gets his pocket picked by Rose. He takes it out of the Bees defensive zone. Played ahead. Foot race into the corner. Won by the Cats. Bebris. Over to Jones. Drop pass finds Billing. Played ahead, turned over to Erskine. He'll play it once towards the Cats net. Marl settles it down. Off the skate of Bricknell, kept in by Stead. Stead will fire through traffic. That's into Glovermar. He'll hold on. Tom, for the Cats, you don't want to see a game where they maybe sit back and try and outlast the Bees, because those games never end up working for any team.
No.
You feel like it has to kind of be a case of maybe getting a comfortable margin ahead before you sit back and go.
Yeah, no, you can't play. You can't sit back and assume that you can just defend the game out, and that's where you get into trouble. I think what the Cats can do. Wait for the
shot from Mitchell, blocked by the first man in front. Antonov collects, bounces out the zone. Nags carries it over centre ice, dumped ahead. Antonov battling with a puck, finds a way to Goodbye. Balance down low to Goodbye, shot blocked in front, that time by Bullis. Cats try and play it up the wall, icing waved off, foot race to it. Nags held up by Bullis. Up to Ballas, not kept in that time by Jamie Smith. Godfrey, over to Smith. Played ahead, Billing. Shaw is pushed off the puck by Stead. Mogg clears. Minutes of pause for Tyler Hatfield. Going on in the rink, Rose to the front of the net. And puck held on by Marr. Obviously, Tom, it's going to be a case of the Wildcats obviously having a lot of more depth in the Bees. They can afford to run that fourth line out of Lipsy, Shaw and whoever centres them.
And I mean Lipsy and particularly Josh Shaw have kind of been a revelation a bit this year for the Wildcats. Josh Shaw's they've both taken big steps forward. Josh Shaw in the scoring side as well, but I think also for the Wildcats it's just a case of staying disciplined as well. You don't want to what you don't want to do is give the Bees too much power play time. You know they're short bench. You kind of want to keep the game 5-on-5 if you can.
Shot from Kelly, blocked in front. Here's the breakout for the Cats. Malicinski brought down. It's going to be a penalty anyway if it doesn't go in. Big save from Max Wright on Ballant Pekosny. And the whistle is blown, even though the Wildcats have possession.
That's a superb save from Wright on Pekosny there. Malazinski was brought down, managed to keep the play moving. And yeah, it's a big save from Wright on Pekosny, who's already got 4 goals this weekend.
Kelly will sit 2 minutes for holding as the call. He's arguing his case, but there's nothing to be said there. 3:42 time of the penalty.
Yeah, I think that was a fairly clear-cut one that Malazinski was dragged down.
I think Kelly's argument may have been he didn't hold him.
yeah, you got the penalty wrong, not that it shouldn't have been a penalty.
Wildcats on the man advantage. 25 goals on the year so far, 33.78% success rate. The Bees' penalty kill, as that shot comes off the mask of Wright and is cleared by Mogg, has given up 13 goals, success rate 78.68. Those numbers from the NIHL national website, so they could be wrong.
Yeah, good.
High stripes.
Good work there from Balaj to just force Bricknell out of the zone, pull the offside, take the face-off out into the neutral ice.
Max Wright currently gesturing towards Matt Rose that he's been hit on the mask. It's been a recurring theme the last couple of weeks with Max, in that he's been hit in the mask by a puck or a stick and play's just been allowed to go on. I think he's getting a bit frustrated with those non-calls, so while he does check his equipment out, he's okay to carry on.
The Wildcats have sent Thomas Malazinski very wide on this face-off on the play. He's by the Bees bench at the moment, and the puck goes to him. Wasn't the best pass. I was about to say, I'm not sure what the plan was, but I don't think it was that. I think the play was probably to get the puck in front of him so he could take it at speed, and the pass was just a bit too on the tape.
Well, it's going to work to Bricknell anyway, and that one's into the glove of Wright. He'll hold on that one.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get the play for Malazinski to come in to make the zone entry on the far side, and the pass from Bradley just was a bit behind him, and he couldn't take it at any kind of movement.
It would have worked, and there was no B really seemed to notice the fact that Malacinski was over on that side.
Yeah.
Face off to the left of Max Wright, won by Jones, back to the blue line. Cosdy. Circles, back high. Pushed back across to the Cosdy, that one gets stuck in escape for a second. Able to move it down to Beberis. Cosdy. Back to the blue line, shot blocked by Will Stead in front. Wells across to Jones. Good block that time by Ty Cathcart. He will take it himself up the right-hand wall. Cathcart goes to the shot. That one's blocked by Wells. Big hit there on Wells. Interesting to see that again. Cats over the blue line once again. Shot from tight angle by Beberis is kicked aside by Wright. Cosdy back high. Cosdy tries to go through traffic. That one comes off of Beberis. Rebound, bobbling puck. Cathcart able to just hold Sayers off enough, and the Bees will clear. 15 seconds left on a man advantage.
Quite an even battle between the power play and the penalty kill this one. I think the Bees will be happy, but the Cats will also be happy that they've moved the puck well and created some chances.
That will do it for the man advantage. You've got to be worried about the man coming out of the box. Lovely move from Bullis into the zone. Right with the poke check, and the Bees survive the penalty kill. I suppose if there has been one bright spot on the Bees season so far, the penalty kill has been much improved compared to last year. Mitchell fires that one into the zone. Just over 6 minutes gone so far. Clues. Puck move up ice. Wildcats look for a change. Mitchell finds his way over to Antonov on the right-hand side. Cuts in, runs into trouble, more than away from it. Wildcats in a foot race. Brilliant there from Malasinski again. And that shot just pushed wide of the post. Malasinski tries to flow on into the slot. Aaron Nell not really reading that one. I would love it if that could be a repeat occurrence tonight. I doubt it will be as they turn it over at the other end. Antonov drops it off goodbye. Shot, that one's into the chest of Mar. He'll hold on.
Yeah, good work there from the Bees on the forecheck as the just to keep the puck in the zone, create an opportunity, and yeah, you'd hope that maybe the shot might have been a bit cleaner on Mar, given it was one of the imports. Goodbye. Who took it, but it was kind of straight at Rennie Mar. He was going to take those all night.
There was that hit on Wells. I think it's more just a case of awkward timing.
Yeah, and also Wells isn't the biggest defenseman in the league, and Don Goodbye is a big solid player. So there's a bit of a size difference.
Icing called on that one. We'll go all the way back. So there's been a change in lines. We were told it's Mr. Kenshaw. Is that, I believe, is Mr. Lee Young?
Yeah, it is Lee Young, yes. Lee Young and Andy Cook, I believe.
And Andy Cook. So we haven't got the lines, and we were told we're going to be here.
Got it.
Oh, well, card subject
These
to
things
change
happen.
and all that.
These things happen.
That one is probably in the eyes again. No, Wright has to play it. Fires off the plexi. That one fired off a linesman. Cathcart goes for the between the legs move and drops it off for Chris Jones. Up to the blue line. Shot takes deflection. That goes high up into the netting from Bradley. That'll see a face-off in the Bees zone. Face off to the left of Wright, always fun to say. Rose wins the draw. Toombs fires round the glass. Just kept in for a moment there by Godfrey, but Erskine does well to kick the puck ahead. Carried over centre ice, thrown into the corner, icing waved off. Kelly able to get there first. Once again, he's just doing a good job of keeping the Cats the other side of the blue line for a time. Dumped in right out of his net, misplays it. Toombs has to get there first ahead of Sayers and does. Thrown down low, Kelly helps it out the way. Erskine once again pokes the puck clear. Lipsy back there to collect, spins away from Erskine, fired across ice. Toombs there first. Erskine again helps it into the opposite corner. Sayers fires off the boards, kept in by Kelly at the blue line. Stead shot, that does that. It's blocked by Lipsy. Heavy sounding hit as Stead fires again. That one into the shoulder of Marr, who holds on.
Yeah, Bees are starting to create some opportunities here. I think
they're very structured tonight.
Yeah, I think they've got to be. You can get, again, you're with the short bench. You don't want to be kind of spending too much time chasing the puck in your own end. I think also if you can kind of frustrate the Wildcats into starting to kind of force plays, which is something we do see occasionally from the Wildcats, as they start to try and force the plays a little bit and get away from the game plan. That will create opportunities going the other way.
Wildcats trying to bring it up ice. Malasinski fired over to Nell. Nell tries to work a shooting lane. Shot blocked in front. Saved by Wright the first time of asking. Pekosley has one whack at it. And then draws a crowd. Wright saves both, which is the important bit for the men in yellow.
Yeah, solid start for Wright as well in net. He hasn't looked flustered at all. Yeah.
He looks like a man who had a night off.
Yeah, he does. He looks a man who's nice and fresh. Funny that.
And Nell in the face-off dot on this one. One by Goodbye. Nags is there first. Malasinski takes a puck away from Pod. Back to Nell. He's just floating between the hash marks, and that shot saved by Wright.
I mean, I think we've seen that many a time over the years, that kind of connection. Malasinski behind the net, Nell in the slot. Yeah, good. It's good, again, good solid positioning from Wright. Took, made himself big in front of the net and didn't really give Nell anything to shoot at.
Nell wins a draw on that one. Back to the blue line. Antonov with the stick in the lane prevents any kind of pass into the low post area. Debris with the puck down behind his own net. Spins away from a forechecking Goodbye on that one. Thrown up ice right out of his net to play it. He's going to do that one time this year, and I'm not going to be very happy because they thrown cross ice. Johnson dropped off. Another one for the save collection for Max Wright as Blues pinches down to the face-off dot and fires that one in on net.
Yeah, and a bit of a nervy moment behind the net for Max Wright. Here's an update on tonight's game.
Yep, brought to you by producer Nick. Sheffield 3, Romford 3. That's in overtime. Peterborough 1 leads 0 after the first. Hull 1, Solway 1 after the first. Thank you, Chris Kamara. If Gillette want to sponsor the Soccer Saturday section of Nick's production, I'm sure he'd be quite happy with it. Bees take it up ice. Step tries to draw Wells out of position, thrown in towards goal, pushed aside by Marr. Lipsy over to Shaw. Bear down on goal. Mitchell able to knock the puck free. Pushed up ice. Icing waved off. Johnson deemed able to play it. Puck around to Bradley. Spins away from Stead. Turn pass almost to Bradley. He's kicked aside by Nags on that occasion. Knocked loose away from the pile. Nags is there to collect. Billing bearing down on him. Fired up to Antonov. Can't get a stick on it. That one will be icing.
Again, good structure in the in their own end there from the Bees, keeping the Wildcats to the outside and not allowing any kind of clean looks on Max Wright. I think it's going to be a pattern that's going to have to be going on all night if the Bees are going to get something out of this game.
It's going to be a massive defensive shift from the men in yellow, that's for sure. And another big save from Wright. That one fired in from Bricknell. That one unsighted on him. Thrown cross ice, picked off by Antonov. Tries to find Goodbye. Bricknell can't intercept it fully. Through to Goodbye. Shot saved by Mark. Jones tries to clear. Kept in by Antonov. Held up down low. Antonov comes away with it. Fired on goal. That one off the basket into the glove of Marr. He holds on. 9:02 remaining.
Yeah, good work there from Antonov. Just pull the puck away off the boards, get this quick shot in, and it's a good save in the glove by Marr. I think that's what the Bees are going to have to do more of. If they're going, they've got to. It's going to be, as you say, it's going to be a big effort for a team with 13 skaters to kind of grind a game that's really close. So you're going to have to take a chance when they come.
Bees win the draw. Down low goes Balaz, pinned to the boards by Plews. And the Cats bring it away. Pushed ahead. No one there in the black shirt. Teams time to correct his body position. Puck over to Goodbye. Pushed ahead. Evades the hit from Tyler Plews. That one, not the best Tyler Plews hit you're going to see tonight. Definitely not this season. Cats the other way. Shot from the blue line. Pushed aside by Wright. That one from Bullis. Shaw collects. Fired round. Bullis peels away from the front of the net to collect the loose puck. Drops it off to Sayers. Shoveled round. Beveris can't get there ahead of Balaz. Kept in the blue line and fired back down low. Toombs and Shaw battling for the puck. Toombs wins on that occasion. Antonov helps shovel it up ice, and Balaz completes the job. Bees look to get a change in as Kelly holds the puck behind Max Wright. 7:50 to go in period number 1. Bees trying to set something up at least. That pass up to Erskine, again, probably not what was drawn up on the whiteboard. Bees the other way, and it's over to Malasinski. We've seen this many times as he cuts across. Good block by Ty Cathcart. Puck falls back down to Malasinski. Off of Wright, off the post, and back under Wright. Well, there's the first little bit of puck luck of the evening.
I mean, that could have gone anywhere off Wright, but he managed to knock it onto the post.
Cats in again. Another one saved by leg pad to Wright. Another one saved from Wright. That one, second chance coming from Bradley. And everyone breathe a little. Yeah,
Thomas Malasinski hasn't had much puck luck in terms of the goals department this year, and that's another example of it. He spins and shoots, and it flicks off the skate of Wright and onto the post.
Breathe, everyone breathe, we're all right. Goodbye wins the draw. Finds Ty Cathcart. Mogg. Helped on its way by Antonov. Kept in by Bricknell. Throws it down low to Billing. Spins away from Ty Cathcart. Billing tries to force one in. Bricknell on the rebound. Doesn't make good contact with it. And the Bees able to clear the zone. Balaz takes it over the blue line under pressure from Billing. They both fall down together. No penalty call. Long stretch pass. That one offside is called on Bricknell. That one feels borderline, shall we say. It would have been a very bang-bang call.
Yes. I mean, we're not the best angle on that one, no. So we'll defer to Lee Young.
Exactly.
But yeah, it looked close. Let's put it that way. It looked close. And I think Jake Bricknell was entirely delighted with that one, as I think he would have been off to the races.
6.5 remaining in the first period.
Yeah.
Bees come away with the puck. Nags tries to get round Plews. He loses the puck. Cats clear. Not the best hit delivered there by Will Stead, but it puts Josh Shaw off enough.
Yeah.
And he loses the handle on the puck.
Yeah.
Nags from behind his own net. Moves to his left, fires it back across. Stead tips it on ahead. Bebris will get there first. Spins himself into trouble on that one. Shaw helping on the clean-up duty. And the Cats can break the other way. 2-on-2. Lipsy in on goal. Mitchell tries to play the block. Shot from Johnson as it's fed across to him. Saved by Wright again. Johnson carries it round high. Puck fired towards goal. Off the side of the net that time. Malasinski collects ahead of Mitchell. Lipsy pinching Tyler Plews. That one's fired wide, and that will just leave the blue line. Beveridge back round to Malasinski, who clearly senses blood with the way he's furiously banging his stick on the ice. He's not going to sense on that occasion as Mogg clears, finds Goodbye. 2-on-2 the other way. Goodbye steps in, fires that one wide of Miles' right-hand post. Antonov over to Balaz. That one is 3 points in the NFL.
Yeah. A little bit of a shank on that one from Balaj.
Too much pitching wedge.
Yes. Yeah, good break there from the Wildcats with Lipsy and Johnson just driving the net.
It's good.
Yeah, not Balaj has scored a lot of goals in this league. That was not one that threatened to add to his tally.
All right. He's in the draw. Wells. Pushed up ice to Malasinski. He doesn't quite get it under total control on that puck as lands a bobble through to Mogg. Goodbye. Fires it off Vanya Antonov. There's no other way of saying that one.
I don't think Vanya Antonov had much chance of controlling that one, it has to be said. That's just hit him.
You could hear the thud from up here. Yeah. Cats fire it cross ice. Kelly gets there ahead of Bradley. That one's off the stick of Nell and up into the bench. It'll stay inside the zone. 4:41 remaining in the first period. I think
the Bees will be largely happy with how this is going so far. They're creating a few opportunities in the Cat zone. They're playing a decent structure in their own end and keeping it fairly tight. They look a little susceptible at times where the Cats are getting the numbers on the break. That's, I think, one thing they have to keep an eye on. Particularly Malazinski is getting kind of in behind a lot.
Bullis wins the draw. Puck moved down to Sayers. He takes on a lap behind the net. Tries to throw it through to Bullis, who's held up by Rose. No other way of saying it. Misplay of the puck there from Jamie Smith allows it to bounce over the blue line and out. Good recovery job from Smith to prevent any damage on that. And then also pokes the puck outside the blue line and prevents the Bees from getting any kind of offensive zone time. Toombs pushed ahead to Rose, tips it on ahead. Johnson is back there. Cats with it. Stop and go is immediately stopped by Dan Rose. Kelly fires it cross ice to Toombs. Able to find Erskine as he tips it on ahead and goes to the bench. Cats the other way. Bricknell. Kelly able to poke it, the puck away from him for a moment there. Good work on the back end. Prevents any kind of chance. Offside wave off on that one, but Mitchell able to clear and take the puck away from Bebris. Kelly off the backboard to Mitchell. Balaz can't complete the job on that one, but he will get a second chance now to take it over the blue line and up ice. Wildcats do a good job of just closing him in and goodbye offside on that one. That one a bit more obvious than the one earlier.
Yeah. Again, just solid work from the Bees. They keep the puck away from, that slot area. And the Cats will be. I think the Cats will be fairly happy that they are creating and they are getting the zone time. But yeah, I think the Bees will be pleased with how this first sort of 17 minutes of this game has gone. They've clearly got that game plan in place, and so far they're sticking to it.
And so far, it's working as well. As the Cats play into the zone, right out of his net to play it. Moves along to Cathcart, who fires it off the skate of the Wildcats forward. Bricknell plays himself into trouble and gets his pocket picked by Balaz. Little pass up ice off. That one should have been offside as well from Goodbye. Let's hope nothing comes of it. Cathcart tries to get it under control, backhands it into the zone. Luckily, everyone's blushes are spared as Cathcart hauls Bricknell down. Mogg tries to give himself some time. Loses out to Jones. Round the boards, kept in the blue line, thrown down low. Lipsy unable to get a stick on that one. Goodbye, clears up ice to Antonov. Antonov steps inside. No one really in a yellow shirt able to help on that occasion. Does a good job of holding on to the puck, keeping it in the zone. Thrown down low. Finds Mitchell, thrown off the side of the net. Cats able to clear. Short takes it over the blue line. It's caught by Mitchell on the back check, but nothing too major there. Cathcart jumps ahead of Lipsy to prevent any breakout on that occasion by the Cats. Mitchell again stops Bullis. Puck falls to Malasinski. As we tick down to 90 seconds left in period number 1. Bradley gets stopped at the blue line by Mitchell, who fires the stick away from him, which obviously should be a penalty if it was seen. Malasinski trying bulldozing his way out of 3Bs and is able to do so. Drops it off for Pekosdi. Cathcart for company. Roman on this occasion. Mitchell ushers him away from goal. Pekosdi circling, fires to Malasinski. That one just at his feet rather than his stick, and that means Stead is going to be able to clear. Final 60 seconds of period number 1. Puck moved up to Pekosdi. Mitchell, another brilliant poke check on that occasion. Rose, high flip, just gets it into neutral ice and creates the turnover. Antonov. Little chip and chase around Nell. He's going to get there past Bradley. Can't beat Wells down low. Malasinski plays himself into trouble. Bees turn it over. Thrown into the painted area. Marr doesn't get it the first time of asking. He does get it the second time. Maybe a little bobble in front as it came off a pad. Marr has just launched a stick up ice as well. 23.8 seconds left in the first. Bees with an offensive zone face-off anyway. Rennie Marr ripping the stick out of Will Stead's hands there and throwing it up ice. I'll say the same thing I just said about Marcus Mitchell. That should be 2 minutes as well.
Yeah. Yeah, one each now.
One each. Hasn't
made a difference in the game.
Yep. Bees win the draw. Mogg can't get past Jones. Cats will break 4 on 3 the other way. Britnell, one man to beat. Tries to drop it off into low slot. That's through Sam Godfrey, who, if we're honest, isn't the man you'd want there. That shot is blocked by Antonov at the second time of asking. Cathcart plays up to the blue line. Another block, this time from Ballas. Antonov will set goodbye away. He has to get the shot away quick. He's not going to, as he is bundled down. Can't see who by.
I think it's Chris Jones.
I think it's Chris Jones, who has clearly been watching too much of the Autumn Internationals.
I think that was very much a case of just put my body in the way here, I think, from Chris Jones. as goodbye sort of just barrels through him. Yeah,
he's been watching too much of the Welsh rugby, as most players on these teams have this month.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the first period, it's Berkshire Bees 0, Swindon Wildcats 0, and Tom, if one team's going to be happy with the fact it's 0-0 at this point, it's the Bees.
Yeah, exactly. I think the Bees have played. They've played. You know, we said it already tonight. They've played with a solid defensive structure. They've got a short bench. They're going to have to just keep tight at the back and hope that they might get, the breaks here or there, maybe get power plays. Hope that the Wildcats, start to get frustrated and make little mistakes and let them and force the play. But yeah, they've kept their structure so far well. I think Swindon will be relatively happy with the chances they're creating, but obviously, they'll want to be making sure they can get a couple on Max Wright sooner rather than later, if we're honest.
Yeah, well, if we're honest, we're not here to be entertaining tonight. If you're the Bees, you're here to try and get a win.
It's not been a game of the highest quality, it has to be said, but it's been relatively even. So.
Well, we'll be back with you with the second period in about 15 minutes' time. Welcome back to the hangar for period number 2 of tonight's game between the Berkshire Bees and the Swindon Wildcats. Nick's going to surprise us with which graphic he has ready to go first, so we'll see which one it is. Elsewhere in the league, it's finished Sheffield Steel Dogs 4, the Romford Raiders 3 in overtime. Peterborough Phantoms 3, Leeds Knights 1. That's in the second period. Hull 1, Solway 2 in the second period. Big result if Solway can pull that off. And in the 6 o'clock face-offs, nothing has happened. Not a thing. No. MK no doubt will be saying it's a small rink. And Berkshire are here to not entertain you tonight. Nick's just shaking his head behind me, which is always a good sign. Yep. Here, though, 0-0. No real shots, apart from maybe the one from Malasinski that almost squeaked through Max Wright. The one penalty on Josh Kelly. Shots on goal in that first period. 17 on Max Wright, which is a lot. And as former librarian and grammar pedant Tom Graham has just pointed out, a Gassint Rennie Marr is 6. With the benefits of editing, I'm sure that'll be fixed in the second period. No, he's frantically doing it now.
Yeah. Has to be done. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, you picked the wrong person.
I was going to say, if Chris had been here, he might have got away with that one.
Yeah. Maybe. The one person who's going to pick that up quick as a flash is Tom, unfortunately. Yeah. 17-6, so already the Bees 11 shots down in their usual average of 13 at the moment. Tom, I jokingly said it, the Bees very much, they're not here to be entertaining tonight, they're here to play trap hockey.
Yeah, well, you've kind of got to when you're as short bench as the Bees are. Like, you've got 2 lines of forwards effectively and 2 D pairs, so there's not a lot really that can be, not another game plan that you can have. As much as that's not the most fun answer to that question.
It's not the most fun game plan in the world.
No, exactly. You've got to do what you've got to do in these scenarios. And I said to you during that break, you know, you can't play a run and gun game against a team with a significantly longer bench than you, who have the, you know, the Cats have the depth in the offense and can score goals if you get stretched. And there have been a couple of times in that period where the Cats have managed to get in behind right, and they obviously had the big save on Pekosty on that delayed penalty breakout, and another big one on Malazinski where he kicked it onto the post. So he's had the chances are there for Swindon, and the Bees they've got to stay disciplined. They've got to keep out the penalty box, and they've got to try and, you know, force mistakes. They've got to force the breakaways. They've got to force something to kind of set themselves up.
It was a case of quantity over quality in that first period. The second period, obviously Aranel all wants better quality chances rather than firing them in for them out on the hash marks, as the Bees have control of the puck. It's fired over to Antonov. He'll step in on his own. Fires a shot off the leg of Wells. Malasinski there to clean up. Gets his pocket picked by Goodbye and loses an edge. Goodbye trying to find an angle. Fires a shot off the blocker of Marr. Rebound, bobbling puck. Cleared by Wells. Mogg tries to find a shooting lane, finds one he likes, that one's fired wide. Antonov, that one knuckles over the bar. Kelly's attempt to pass picked off by Bradley. Ballas takes it away from him, turns and fires off the skate of Wells. Goodbye, back high, shot through traffic. Marr sees it late, but sees enough of it to keep it out on that occasion. Bradley tries to clear, gets it in the blue line again. Bounces away from Nell. Punched forward. Hand pass is called. Ty Cathcart thought he'd try and get away with punching the puck on.
Yeah, a good first shift, and I think that's what the top line for the Bees has to do. Obviously, tonight they've gone with the option of just stacking that top line. You've put your 3 big players, Antonov, Gabai and Balaj, on the same line. And that's the kind of shifts that they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try and grind the Cats down, create chances, and put some pressure on Marr in the Cats' net.
Beveris fires one cross ice to Bricknell. He's met by Kelly. Stick battle won by the Canadian. Thrown over to Jones. Attempts clearance picked up by Bricknell. Rose with a good job of taking the puck away from him. Fired high off the glass. That will leave the zone. Instead able to knock it on. Tries to spin his way past Plews, but takes a tumble himself instead. Bricknell away from Stead. Loses the puck though. But then quickly rebounds on a poor pass there from Stead on that occasion. The backhand to nowhere. Fired across the Plews in the zone. Jones. And a Billy. Plews in virtual nosebleed territory for him usually as he's down by the goal line. Puck back up to Beveris. Plews again at the hash marks. Finds Jones. Jones fired through traffic. That one goes up and into the Cats fans. Just off camera to the left there.
Yeah, good that from Swindon, and really well worked from Bricknell at one point in that sequence as well. To kind of, he made the mistake, made up for it, and kind of set up the rush up the other way.
There is your man fall down highlight of the week.
But yeah, no, better shift that for Swindon. Just kind of, again, that's what they've got to do. They've got to try and grind the Bees down in the zone, and you know, they know that we've got the legs on in terms of the bodies. So kind of got to just play that kind of grind it down scenario and get zone time.
Bobbling puck towards Ballas. Brilliant pass through, threads the needle through to Antonov. Can't get it under control on that occasion. Forced wide. Fire back to the blue line. Mitchell shot from no man's land, held by Marr.
Yeah, nice pass from Balaj there to almost set up Antonov. He just couldn't quite get a stick on it. Again, the Bees top line, they're doing the heavy lifting, and they kind of have to, but they are creating problems for the Wildcats, which is a positive certainly for the Bees coaching staff.
They win the face-off on that occasion. Balaz. Circle of net, all 5 Wildcats in pretty deep. That one off a stick, that will stay in the zone. Face off to the left of Mar. Cats able to get a change in thanks to the stoppage. One by Gabai. Back to the blue line. Frankly, awful attempted pass by Cathcart, sets Wells away. Spins away from Antonov. Good work from Antonov to prevent any forward attack there from Wells. Fired around to Malasinski. Boxed out well there by the Bees. And the Bees turn it over at the blue line. Bradley able to spin Balaz down. The Bees penalty one. Bees bench wants penalty, but there's nothing in there for any of us. But that one is offside.
Just drifted in front of Bradley before we could really get that under control and into the zone.
Scrappy 20 seconds there.
Yeah, not the hockey, not the winner in that 20 seconds of play.
Face off one by the Bees. Dan Rose is pushed ahead. And Wilstead gives chase. He's got Johnson for company. Johnson able to separate the puck from him. Lipsy turns over to Rose. Stead steps inside Johnson. Wilstead with the opportunity. That one comes off of Wells and wide. Wells able to jump in front of Cathcart on that one. And takes it away. Fired through centre ice to Shaw. Shaw at the left-hand wing, drops it off for Lipsy. Good defensive job there of holding him up. Can't see who that was in the eye. So he's played ahead with Ollie Nags.
I think it was Dan Rose again. Yeah, I think it was Dan Rose covering at the back.
He gestures for a change as Wells brings it out from behind the Cats net. Under pressure by Balaz. Johnson able to shovel it up the wall. Mitchell back there to collect. Spins away from Bricknell. Turned over. Bricknell below the goal line. Here's Wells, and that's a big save from Wright, and it's bundled in. We'll have to see on the replay on that one. Wright makes the first save. The dam bursts. 24-19. Time of the goal.
Well, I wouldn't say it's been coming, but it's a nice pass from Bricknell. A wide open Wells, and it's just tapped in.
No, I think it comes off of Marcus Mitchell as he tries to get back in position.
Yeah, it's a bad bounce. Wells will get the credit for the goal in that case. But that's an unlucky break for the Bees, it has to be said. I mean, the Wildcats will argue they've had plenty of ice time and they deserve a goal. They've had a couple of good chances saved, but yeah. Ryan Wells will get his 4th of the year. It's not his prettiest of the year, it has to be said, but he'll get his 4th of the year.
Yep, takes him to 17 points on the season. Not bad from the first year import D-man as that one takes the deflection right, holds on in net. So I imagine it should go down as well as unassisted really on that one.
Yeah, there might be a bit of chiselling going on here, I feel.
A Jake Bricknell chiseling assist there. To take him.
I mean, Jake Bricknell will argue the pass deserved an assist, but I'm sure that'll be the what he claims, the officials.
He should have finished it better.
Yeah.
Bricknell on the puck now. Takes a big hit from Josh Kelly. Excellent chiselling from Bricknell. And another excellent chisel from Ed Bradley. We saw it a lot last year when he came back.
Superb work there, boys.
Yep, well done. You love to see it.
Almost as much chiselling as you'd see in a quarry.
Antonov spin pass is picked off by Blues. Jones sets Bricknell away again. Bricknell, lap of the zone, turns, fires. That one off the blocker right and wide. Bebris is there to collect, tries to go to Billing. Ed Bradley with point 18 on the air as well on that one. So Bricknell now to 33 as Blues fires out for a traffic screen in front, and that one is 2-0. Quick as you like, 25-16.
Looked like it was Billing in front of the net.
I think it's the first shot has come off Billing, and he's just the first one to react and backhand it past right. 2-0.
Again, not pretty, but Glenn Billing, we know he does this. Yeah, it is Glenn Billing. He does this so well in front of the net, and he's just shoveled it in on the backhand. His parents are in the house tonight, so Yeah, he scored in front of mum and dad. But
Hi, Pete.
But yeah, it's not the prettiest goal. But Glenn Billing just scores so many of those goals. He's so good around that front area.
I'll say this because I know Jack's in the build tonight.
Yeah.
Those are on goals of the week.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, don't put. Yeah, neither of those were pretty, but sometimes you just have to be effective.
They count. It's not goal of the week. We haven't had the standard pass to the slot yet. Cats with it. There's one of them. Another chance kicked away by Wright, and you just sense the Bees starting to panic.
Yeah,
back to Malasinski, thrown to the net. Billing from Bebris and Close, I think was the call there.
Yeah, I think so.
Nell.
Yeah.
He's out. Glenn Billing with his 10th of the year. He's into double digits. Turned over. Malasinski. That one stopped in front by Mogg. Back to Malasinski. He goes back to Aaron Nell. Looks for an option. Spins to the front of the net. Another big save from Max Wright. Busy, busy boy. Bees try and break out.
So you could say he's a busy bee.
Oh. Oh. Wilstead. Yeah, I agree, Nick. Stead tries to crash to the front of the net, gets his legs taken out from underneath.
This is the sort of quality you get for bringing me up here.
Yes, when I said quality over quantity, I meant Wildcat shots, not your jokes. At least I know what I'm going to get you for Christmas now.
Yeah.
Fired up ice, kept in at centre ice by Bradley. Sayers throws it down to Billing. Tries to get away from Nags and finds Sayers again. Sayers gets a shot away, but it's over the bar. Goodbye on the loose puck. Finds Erskine. Fired off the plexi. Bees go to the bench. Bullis collects the puck. Oh, sorry, Wells collects the puck. Finds Bullis that time. Chipped ahead, right out of his net to play it. Thrown around the boards to Billing. Bullis takes it out the pile, finds Billing again. 3 yellow shirts around him. Back to Wells, kick save right once more. Pushed ahead, kept in at the blue line for a split second by Wells. Fired in that time by Bullis. Right, once again plays it out. Throws it off Josh Short. Luckily no one in a black shirt there. Nags finds Balaz, just helps it on its way. Lipsy to Shaw, tries to throw it over. Once again, I couldn't quite see who that was on that occasion.
Johnson, I think.
It is Johnson. I just saw 2. Yeah. Held up in the far corner. Bees able to bring it away. Poor pass turns it over though. Another poor pass, gives it straight back to Antonov. Carried over the blue line by Balaz. He'll step round Bebris. Bebris does a good job of pushing him aside. Leaves it for Goodbye. Tries to find Antonov. Antonov can't collect. He has 2 goes at it, but Bradley does well. It's a clear. Shaw the other way. Steps inside one. Saved by Wright. Pushes it aside. Team's there to meet him. And the Bees clean up. 3 on 2. So chance now for the Bees. And it's gone. Goodbye. Drops it off for Ballas. Gets met by Bebris. He clears the blue line.
It was a good stick from Bebris, to be fair, to break that up.
Throwing it on goal. Mark gloves it down. Leaves it for Bebris. Billing steps around one. Stopped from going any further. Fired cross ice. Antonov gets there. He'll have Plews for company. Bouncing puck collected by Rose. It's dispossessed by Plews. Bebris can't get it past Antonov on that occasion. That one off the side of the net. Bounces back to Bebris rather than the intended Dan Rose. Sorry, me and Tom both are there.
Busy listening to Lee
Young shouting, "Get it out!" from puck played ahead, right out of his net to play it. That one's dangerous again. Jones finds Bricknell. It's going to happen at one point this year as Bricknell circles. Shot saved by Wright once again. Finds Smith. Down low again. Godfrey winds up, fires through traffic, takes a deflection, goes up and away from goal. Foot race to a loose puck, won by the Bees. 3-on-2 the other way. Chance for the men in yellow. Stead bears down on goal, cuts inside one. Still the chance. Big save, Marr. Luckily, puck falls away to Bricknell.
Yeah, good. I think off the light, potentially. Or the screen.
I think it was off the scoreboard.
Yeah.
9:40 to go in period number 2.
Good opportunity there for the Bees. I think Sam Godfrey just pinched a bit too high into the zone and or a bit too deep into the zone, and he kind of set up the 3-on-2 with Chris Jones back with Jamie Smith. Well worked, and to be fair, a big save. Probably one of the bigger saves that Mars had to make all evening. That one off Will Stead. Did well to work a shot actually out of that Will Stead.
Going forced further and further away from goal. Cats win the draw on that occasion. Puck thrown cross ice to Pekosdi. He will step inside, go left to right. Pekosdi once again tries to drop it off. No one there in a black shirt. Malasinski alert enough to clean up. Finds Bradley. Bradley again. That one's misplayed. Bees the other way. Antonov. Pick your battles. Decided not to go for Aaron Nell. Wells holds it against the boards. Pushed ahead to Bradley. Now takes a tumble. I think they were standing on the stick of Ballas more than anything. No one really complained.
No.
That being said, Friday night in Milton Keynes, I did see Tom's Rookers get 4 minutes for standing on a stick. So
it's unfortunate.
What can you say? Antonov, lovely move, draws the penalty. Well there.
I think Ed Bradley going to the box on a trip here.
Lovely move by Antonov, as Tom says, draws the penalty. 31-15.
It might be. It may be Pekosdi actually.
It's one of the two. They
two.
all had a go.
Yeah. It is Ed Bradley. I was right in the first time. Bradley just hacks down.
Because he's the first one who gets blown by.
Yeah, because Bradley going with a bit of an industrial move to stop that opportunity, and it's going to be the first chance for us to see the Bees power play this evening.
Yes, power play is loose use of the word. 13 goals on the year so far, 14.29 success rates. The Cats' penalty kill has given up 12 on the year, 80.95. Those numbers from NIHLnational.com. High stripes. Yes, I know he's watching, Tom. He's already messaged me. I'm one of his guilty pleasures as the Bees go ahead into the zone. Ballas tries to bulldoze his way down to the low goal line. Beveris there to meet him. Puck falls to Antonov. Pass maybe misplayed, doesn't quite get to Wilstead. Tyler Blues tries to fire it around the boards. Glove down for a moment there by Kabay. Not kept in. Blues has lost a stick and a glove. Out of play for a moment there. Antonov thrown to the slot. That one's wide from Stead as Blues does a great job of getting back into it.
Yeah, who needs equipment?
Be them legal or illegal. These into the zone. Beveris calls for an offside. They did a good job of making sure they weren't on that occasion. Goodbye. Ushered away by Blues once again. Drops off to Antonov. I'll be generous. Ballas finds Antonov. Antonov with the shot. Gongs Marr on the mask. That's in from Stead. That shouldn't be a goal. I'm going to say it. We saw it in the first when it hit right in the mask. That one's hit Rennie Marr square in the head. Will Stead is Johnny on the spot. It's a 2-1 hockey game, 32-28.
Yeah, as you say, Rennie Marr not particularly happy, having been, as you say, gonged in the head by this quick wrist shot from Antonov. But it's well worked from Stead, just getting the space in the slot and just bundling it home. That's the sort of time we said, the Bees have got to take their opportunities in those scenarios. And yeah, I think Rennie Marr's not very happy. It's safe to say he's going to get his mask checked now, I think.
Yeah, someone please do message us. Was there some kind of rule change that we've both missed at some point this year?
I guess there must have been.
I always thought that if it fell somewhere in a dangerous area,
you
blew it dead.
Especially if it comes straight off the face of the mask like that
one.
And the right one in that first period as well, it has to be said. I don't think...
We saw it last week in the Telford game where Max Wright got hit in the head by David Thompson's stick. And the play was just allowed to go on, and the Tigers scored.
Yeah.
Like, here it is again. You can, fair play to Rennie Marr. He ducks his head into it to get it, but
it's what it is. The goal's been given, so it's what it is. I don't really, like I say, it's one of those rules that maybe
there was a change.
Need a referee just to explain what the wording is nowadays. But yeah, certainly Renimar wasn't entirely delighted with that one, but the goal has been given, so here we are at a 2-1 game. And we said it, the Bees have got to take those sort of opportunities if they do get a power play or those kind of times, and they have. They've taken it well there. Get some momentum back in the game. Sorry.
That's right. Stead from Antonov and Mogg is the power play goal. Stead's 9th of the year. Antonov with .17. Stuart Mogg, top point scoring D-man on the side with 8 on the year. So, confidence and momentum. How many times have we said this over the 2 and a bit years that we've been doing this?
Yeah, I was going to say, it brings some momentum back for the Bees, who were just starting to get, struggle a little bit after the 2 quick goals from the Wildcats. Be interested to see whether they can take advantage or whether the Wildcats can settle this game back down again.
Willis throws it on ahead. I will say also, I think we're all in agreement, everyone watching at home as well, we have seen 3 ugly goals so
they've
far.
Not been, it's been in keeping with the style of this game. They've not been pretty.
No.
Effective rather than pretty.
6:52 remaining in period number 2. Both teams take the opportunity to get changes in. Face off won by the Bees. They've done a good job winning draws, especially at the back end tonight. I suppose on a night where they have to be very good at it, they've done their job well. Wells pushed ahead. Jones will give chase. He's going to get there easily ahead of Kelly. Thrown around the boards. Bradley decides not to pinch on that one. Balaz bearing down, shot from the blue line. Takes the deflection off of Wells in front.
Sorry, that was a bit of a moment of man down in front of net getting shot.
And Kabay scored! Wow! If the Wildcats weren't angry with the first one, they should be with the second. A collision in front of net sees Ryan Wells down in front of the crease. No call, no whistle. The Bees carry on playing, and Dom Kabay puts it in. It's a 2-all game, 33-38.
Yeah, I forgot I was commentating just for a second there. Obviously, Wells, to be fair, gets up out of the play before the goal goes in. I think the Wildcats, he did have a word, I think, with the officials. I think he's a little bit unhappy that he's down in the slot, takes a puck while he's lying face down in the zone.
I did enjoy the squeak.
Yeah, the squeak was a bit of a hey. Yeah, I had that one slight moment of seeing guy in zone, see puck hit guy down in zone.
Oh yeah.
Should this play not be being stopped? Not even a Swindon fan moment. That's more of a.
But again, we had that a couple of weeks ago. Liam Morris had a similar thing against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Someone explain it to us, please.
Yeah. Just on the highlights, Nick, just wind that back so you don't get the squeak in there. It can go far enough back, I think.
No, Nick, play it on a loop at the end of the highlights. Annika, at the highlights, just have it on a loop.
Just a squeak.
Do a remix,
In fairness, this is what, year 3 of us doing this? 2 or 3 of us doing this? I think that's the first time I've been caught out.
I think we all get caught out from time to time. Goodbye from Antonov and Balaz is the Bees' second goal. London Buses, team scoring 2 goals up in quick succession. Blues fires one through traffic. That one's pushed aside by Wright. All I know is I've got to walk past those Cats fans in about 10 minutes' time, and I'm going to get chewed out here. I would like it known for the record, everyone watching at home, I don't believe either of those goals should have stood.
Don't know.
Tom's going to properly throw me under a bus when he goes around there.
No, I don't know. Like, genuinely, it's one of those where I'm not 100% sure I know the rules on those situations as they're written now. I certainly think a few years ago both of those would have been disallowed, but rule changes do happen. And I'm going to make the assumption that, as you say, we've seen this multiple times this year, there have been rule changes.
They just haven't been made public anywhere, which is annoying.
Hidden away in a very long document somewhere.
Look, there's nothing wrong with a very long document on a hidden secret website. Some of us are very good at it. The whistle goes on that one. That one should have been an icing call. And I think has finally been
given an icing call, yeah.
Some of us are very good at having long documents on websites you might not have heard of.
Yeah. Is that website NIHLstats.wordpress.com?
It is. Yeah. Hey, it doesn't count as self-promotion if somebody else does it for you. Face off to the right of Wright. 5:13 remaining in the second. One by the Bees again. Cathcart high off the glass. Bounces down the other end. Icing called and given. Roman unable to beat Jamie Smith to the puck on that occasion. I mean, I don't know if it's just the angle we're stood at from up here on the balcony. Rennie Mar's face cage itself looks to have a little dent in it at the front.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if that's just the angle that we're stood at.
It's hard to say. We are at a weird angle when it comes to that particular goal. So,
but yeah, bizarre. That one's blown dead straight off the drop. .05 remaining in period number 2, and as we said, 6 o'clock games have had nothing going on. We've had 4 goals. They've had 2 in Telford. It's Telford 1, Milton Keynes 1. Is that shot in on right? He's pushed aside. Jones finds Bricknell. Jones takes a tumble behind the play off a hit, I believe, from Ty Cathcart. I could be wrong on that one. And that one goes up and into the bench. Dan Rose is the one who's being spoken to by Chris Jones. I think Wildcat frustration is just starting to take a turn here, rightly so. So hopefully everything will calm down a bit. Face off to the right of right. One by the Cats. Bullis. Met by Mitchell. Fires round to Antonov. Gets dispossessed for a second there by Bullis. He's still able to throw it up ice. Balaz into the zone. Drops it off for Gabai. Tom Gabai shot off the blocker of Mar. And the Cats will break 5 on 3 the other way. Here's the danger. Johnson gets round 1. Throws it through the crease. No one there. The Bees do eventually get back on the back check. Gabai collects the puck. Cross ice to Antonov. Bullis closes him down. Antonov shot, saved by Mark, up into the netting and out of play. A little coming together between Antonov and Johnson. No harm done there, just momentum doing its usual thing. Elsewhere, we've got Hull 3, Solway 4. That's at the end of the second. And Peterborough 3 leads 1 at the end of the second.
I think, Rennie Marr is still somewhat chuntering at Hugh Poulton. You saw him again just make a point about this mask.
Shaw loses an edge on the rush. I think no call is the right call on that occasion. Shaw collects the puck. Looks for an option, drops it off, knows Billing's going to be there. He's met by Rose. Back to Bebris. Good work to get it away from Erskine. Goes to the side of the net. Battle there between Shaw and Kelly. Sent round to the other side. Stead tries to spin round Blues. He's tried that a couple of times tonight. It hasn't worked once yet. Lipsy. Down low. Kelly intercepts. Fired off the boards. Falls to Lipsy again. One of these teams will eventually get the puck under control. Stead has another go, just helps it out the blue line this time. Beber Stead clean up. Adam Erskine blows a tyre. 5 on 4, or 4 on 4. Thrown down low, bouncing puck, finds Malasinski, gets under control. That one's off the blocker right. The pole collects his own rebound. Fakes the drop off to Beberis, finds a shooting lane, backdoor chance. Bobbling puck off the right save. Goes through the slot, Cats recover it again. Bebris. That one just behind, that comes off a skate of a Bees player and out of the zone. Godfrey back to collect. Erskine, the one able to kick it clear. Godfrey collects, turns, fires up the left-hand wing. Malasinski over the blue line, draws Kelly out of position, fired goal front, and right makes a save. It's taken 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, good shift there from the Wildcats, just keeping the Bees pinned in their own end. Get a few pucks on, but again, a couple of solid sounding saves. I say solid sounding, it's hard to see with the bodies in front from here, but a couple of solid sounding saves there from right to repel the Wildcats' attack.
Cats win the draw. Puck bounces through a lot of legs. The Bees able to clear. Antonov will skate right at Wells. Lovely move to get through him. Balaz collects the loose puck. Drops it off for Goodbye. Spins away from Bradley. Ballas with a little pick, creates a bit of space. Goodbye finds Mogg. Steps around Bricknell. Spins away from Wells. Puck thrown in deep. Ballas. For some reason fires it off Bradley. Marr tries to jump on it, but is cleared by Billing on the back check. Billing gloves that one down. Fast movement from the Cats again as Bradley sets Bricknell at the right-hand side. He's got Mogg to beat, holds him off. Drop pass to Billing is blocked. Bees break the other way. Good little poke check from Bradley on Ballas. He gets the puck back, carries it over the blue line. Mogg will meet him in the corner. Dropped into the slot. Wells with a chance. Shot saved. I don't know if it's saved or blocked. We'll find out in a second. Bees the other way. Ballas is trying to draw a penalty. That one, I'd argue, probably should be.
Yeah, potentially.
Wells over the blue line. Tries to draw Nags out of position. Turns and fires other side of the zone. Shot saved by Wright.
I think it was a save on that effort from Wells off the bottom of the glove. Or the blocker, sorry. It's the other side, but the blocker side.
Final minute of the second period. Malasinski loses the puck to Antonov, who does just enough to clear the zone. Plews at the right-hand wall to Johnson. Stop and go as he fires it goal front again. Wright with a save. Rebound loose in front. Malasinski takes it away. Another big save from Wright, I think. Or it's a big save from someone in front. Bebr's had the cage at his mercy. Tried to slide it in. Johnson with it. 34 seconds on the clock. Bees try and clear, glove down, and they will clear. Antonov gets it out of the zone. Bebr's there to collect. Fired up to Malasinski up the right-hand side. Tries to go across to Nell. Drops it off, picked off. Cats recover again. They try and crash the net. Back to Nell, just kept in the blue line, but that shot blocked by Antonov. 8 seconds, Antonov gets center ice, throws it on a net, foot race to it. Stead and Nell. Stead finishes his check, and that will finish the second period. Well, it all got a bit exciting there in the final minutes. 4 goals in the second, 2 apiece, and all 4 goals have been fairly ugly, as we keep saying.
Yeah, well, Ballas' goal was nice. It was a good finish.
Here's one of the chances. There's the first. Here's Wright, all alone. It's off the side of the goal and back under Antonov, who tries to
just sit on it. Yeah, just sit on the puck and let everyone recover. Yeah, it's been scrappy. I think, obviously, I think the Cats will be disappointed they've, let the Bees come back into this game. But equally, it's 2 well-taken goals by the Bees. Instead, doing the right thing on the power play, and despite the obvious, Wells going down in the build-up and all of that stuff, it was a really good finish from, was it Ballas who scored the second? Goodbye, sorry. I knew it was one of the 2 import forwards. But it was a really good finish going top shelf on Marr. So, yeah, all to play for in the third. I think the question for the Bees will be what's left in the tank. Obviously, the question for both teams, because this is the Cats' 9th period of the weekend, will be what's left in the tank. I think the Bees have got to keep their structure. The Cats have got to stop themselves from getting frustrated and just trying to force plays. But yeah, it should be an interesting third period.
Well, make sure to join us back here for the third period in about 15 minutes' time. Welcome back to the third and possibly final period here in the hangar. Tonight it's the Berkshire Bees 2, the Swindon Wildcats 2 in our feature game with your live stream. Producer Nick is going to try and throw me off by putting the other stats graphic up, or is he going to go for the bog standard one? Let's find out together, shall we? Period stats, told you. And shots on goal for that second period, 18 on Max Wright, 10 on Rennie Marr. 4 goals in that one altogether. Ryan Wells credited with the first one that very much was a Harry Kane-esque volley by the back-checking Marcus Mitchell. Glenn Billing joining on the spot, blocking the shot first, and then collecting the rebound and sliding it past Max Wright in the net. And then the 2 somewhat controversial goals of the evening. We've had a chance to have a chat with people around the ring. The Wilstead goal apparently is good because the rule saying that pucks to a netminder's face cage has actually been taken out and no one knew about it.
There we go.
So Rennie can complain, and Max the other week. That rule no longer exists, so you play to the whistle.
Fair enough.
So Wilstead is credited with the power play goal on that one, and Dom Goodbye with a second after Ryan Wells down in the prone position caused Tom Graham to turn into a hamster for half a second. And on the blocked shot, shall we say,
it happens.
Before Goodbye fired home. Yeah. So 2-2 after 40 minutes here, anyway. Shots on goal if you're keeping track at home, 35 on right, 16 on Mar. Elsewhere in the league, we already know it finished 4-3 in overtime between the Steel Dogs and the Raiders. Phantoms 4, Leeds Knights 2, that was the end of the second. Hull have pulled it back to 4-4 in the third against Solway. Telford 1, MK Lightning 2 in the third. As we say here, it is 2-2 with 20 plus maybe more to play. Tom, it's not been the prettiest game,
no.
But there's been times where it's been, well, we've made it entertaining, I like to think.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not been the prettiest game, but it's been interesting. I guess it's been a game of kind of two contrasting styles tonight. Obviously the Bees, we've said it before, they've had to play maybe not an attractive style of hockey here, but it's been effective for 40 minutes. The Wildcats maybe been able to be a bit more expansive at times as we get underway for the third.
Puck down low in the Cats' zone. Mogg with a brilliant batted pass. There's a signal for a high stick. I'm hoping it's offside. I think it might be offside. If that's a call for a high stick, that feels very harsh.
Okay, maybe you could have a hand pass in there, but
yeah,
not
brilliant.
A high stick.
Brilliant save from Stuart Mogg.
Yeah, I think that was offside anyway. I think that's what Lee Young has signalled. So.
Neutral zone face-off on this one. Face-off won by Dan Rose. Puck back to Kelly. Toombs shovels that one up the right-hand wall. Who blinks first is going to be the question for these last 20 minutes as Jones crosses the blue line, fires a shot, save from right. Jones collects the rebound. Back to the blue line, another shot through traffic, billing the screen in front, deflects it wide on that occasion. Mark plays it over to Plews. Fired up to Bricknell. Icing is given on that one. Bricknell will try and protest it, but that one fairly textbook.
Yeah, a bit of maybe a slight miscommunication, I think, between Bricknell and Plews on that one. I think Bricknell perhaps wasn't expecting the pass to come up that wing quite as hard as it did.
It's like the one we saw in the first when Goodbye just fired it off Vanya.
Yeah.
Face off to the right of Rennie. Won by Balaz. He immediately gets a shot off on goal. Vanya trying to crash the net there. Held up. No, obviously malice in that whatsoever.
That will allow the Wildcats to change, having obviously not been able to change on the icing.
Face off won by the Bees. Naturally the puck falls where the left winger isn't. Cats the other end. Malasinski gets dispossessed by the back-checking Antonov and Ty Cathcart. Gets the puck back. Can't find Nell on that occasion. Mogg tries to clear. Malasinski once again in the zone to collect the puck. 4 yellow shirts trying to get the puck off him. Eventually it happens. Fired round. Bradley there to collect. Goodbye intercepts the intended pass. Finds balance. Up the right-hand wall. Bees into the zone. Ty Cathcart in nosebleed territory. Those the hit on Pekosny. Good work from the Bees, able to get the puck back for a second there. Bradley blocks a pass. Cats the other way. Pekosny. Malasinski lurking on the back door. He gets the puck. Chance. Shot blocked by Mogg. Bradley through traffic. No one able to get on that one. Too high. Godfrey. Bradley again. Down low. Malasinski. Chance in front of Pekosny. That one fired. Would have gone through the crease. It wasn't going to be on target on that occasion. Goodbye. Under duress from Pekosny. Leaves it for Antonov. I will say the interesting look here at the start of this period. Ed Bradley has been paired with Ryan Wells. Oh yeah, Pekosny has just shoved Goodbye into the bench door. That will cause a reaction. Wilstead steps on the ice to ironically diffuse the situation. Something I never thought I would usually say with Wilstead in these kind of
well,
moments.
It's definitely a situation that's interesting because obviously the Bees just don't have the numbers to get caught up into any kind of silly play tonight.
No.
You can't afford to have guys take bad penalties and be spending time in the box.
Loose pass in the slot. Erskine drops to one knee. So Erskine's Wilstead on that one. 16 and 19 on the same line. Wildcats up the right-hand side. Smith into the zone. Wright has to push it back into the corner. Mitchell take it away from Billing. Stead is there to collect. Billing away from Stead. Back to the blue line. Chance off the side of the net via the stick of Wright. And cleared. One thing I will say, as I noticed on the first shift, I don't know if it's going to be a theme. Ed Bradley was partnered with Ryan Wells for the first 2 periods and has been for most of the first 3 months of the year, but he was not on that shift.
Yeah.
So whether or not Wells is hurt, or it's just a case of the Cats got the lines mixed up for a shift,
maybe
we'll find out soon.
We'll
so I
see.
want to keep an eye on maybe. Jones carries it over the blue line. Does a good job of holding off Kelly. Kelly keeping him under pressure, not giving him a chance to get a pass away, and that will allow Antonov to take the puck over the blue line. Goodbye, stops short. Puck fired cross zone. Goodbye once again able to intercept the pass on shore. Finds Balaz. Bricknell with the stick lift on that occasion. Please. Round the Beveris. Drops it off for short. At speed. Toombs with the block on that one. Forces the young forward into the boards where Balaz takes the puck away. Balaz looking for the pass ahead. He takes his eye off the puck. And that allows the Cats to prevent any breakout and put pressure on the B zone once again. Goodbye. Takes the puck away from Nell. He'll try and play himself into danger. Balaz over the blue line. Tries to return it back to the coach. The Cats break the other way. Fired off the boards. Wright watches it go past the net. Icing called. That one feels a little generous.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I think Cathcart was just ahead of...
Took the shortest route.
Yeah, I think he was just ahead of Malazinski on that play. So I think it's probably a fair enough call on that ice. I don't think there's really been any complaints from the Cats on that one. So
just under 5 minutes gone here in period number 3. Neither team really wanting to overly commit just yet, as rightly so. Cathcart shot, takes a deflection, but it's away from Miles' net. Fired cross ice, on goal this time. Wright makes a save on Pekosdi. Penalty call on this one. The Cats are going to go back on the man advantage. It's a slashing minor called on Ty Cathcart. 45-09. Cats go back on the man advantage.
yeah, I mean, I didn't quite see that one. It was in kind of that blind spot in the corner for me. So, but yeah, the call made for a slash. So yeah, the Cats onto the power play with kind of 15 minutes, just under 15 minutes to go in the third period here.
Big 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Cats win the draw. Fire back to now. Bricknell. Malasinski to the slot. Shot save right. Quick as you like, Billing gets that one away.
It's a play that the Wildcats like, is that play from down low into the slot. The man, usually Glenn Billing in that position.
It's quite fun from being up here. You could see Aaron Nell directing traffic with the stick of where it wants the puck to go.
I was going to say, he's been running that Cats power play since before he was coached, to be fair.
Yep. Bricknell sees the call from the coach down here on this near side wall. Back to Bradley, down low. No one picks up Malasinski. Always an interesting and bold strategy, but that pass off the leg of Nags. Goodbye, able to get the blue line clear. Fired back across the Bricknell. Bees look to get set. Good work from Goodbye once again. Just prevents Bricknell into making the play he wants. And he'll go to the bench. Bricknell steps inside Mogg. Fired cross ice. Nell blocked by Nags once again. That one off the plexi. Bees diving out of the way on the bench as that goes the length of the ice. Bradley starts the rush for the Cats. Bricknell over the blue line, fires cross goal into the far corner. Wells is back on the ice, as Tom points out to me.
It may have just been a kind of line matching sort of situation.
Yep. No need to panic, Swindon fans, we're all good. Pekosdi to the front of the net, save from Wright. Sayers pinches in. He got goal side on Marcus Mitchell. Wright able to read it.
Yeah, Reed Sayers has been in a good run of scoring form the last few games. He had 2 in on the power play up in Leeds last week. He had one last night against Peterborough as well, so he's been quite effective on this second power play unit for the Wildcats.
Face off to the right of right. One by the Cats again. Puck movement, moving it around. Cosley back to the blue line, Wells. Cosley down low, chance blocked by Kelly on that occasion. Antonov stops any form of pass from Wells. The seconds tick down on the man advantage. Cosley blocked by Mitchell, falls to Bebris. Good puck movement once again by the visitors. Jones back to the blue line, shot, that's off the stick of Mitchell in front and up into the netting, and it's a good thing he was there, as Max Wright did not see that at all.
No, Wells has a very, very quick shot in those one-time situations, and as you say, Wright was well screened by a number of players, and Mitchell did well just to get a stick in the way, deflect it up into the netting.
4 seconds left on the Cathcart minor. Wright just takes a second to check his equipment. One by Bullis. Shot through traffic. Wright sees it the whole way, and penalty timer ticks down as the whistle blows. Back to 5 on 5.
Yeah. A solid penalty killing effort there from the Bees. I think the Cats had a couple of chances, but yeah, the Bees will be, I think, largely happy with that. Well, they'll be happy they didn't concede a goal, but I think they'll just generally be happy with how their shape was on that penalty kill.
Like I said, if there's one highlight you could say for the Bees season so far, they have been very, very good on the penalty kill all year. They've only given up 13 goals so far, which is a vast marked improvement on where they were last year. Whether or not that holds the whole season remains to be seen. Clues through traffic. That one is blocked by Wilstead. High up into netting. Not sure what Wilstead's complaining about. I'm hoping it's not anything untoward.
See anything there?
No.
Seemed a fairly clean draw win from Sam Bullis and a shot off the stick from Blues.
Nothing wrong with it.
Didn't see anything at all in that play.
Bullis wins the draw. Rose does a good job of preventing the drop pass back to Blues. Shaw under pressure from Kelly. Kelly loses his stick and then loses the puck to Shaw. Finds Blues backdoor chance. Save from right. Rebound loose in front. Shaw puts it off the side of the goal.
It was a good tie-up, I think, for
Mitchell again.
Mitchell, who got a stick on him.
Heavy hit from Johnson. Nothing wrong with that one, just awkward.
Yeah.
Tennessee just starting to ramp up. Shot from the blue line off the glove of Wright and into the corner. Mitchell meets it. Shaw. That is a little high. And Mitchell returns the favour. Erskine tries to step around Blues. That's not going to work. Pushed ahead. And maybe both teams will settle down a little.
Yeah, just a
angry shift.
Yeah.
Mogg into the corner. Held by Blues.
I'd say there wasn't anything wrong with either of those hits, though, it has to be said.
No.
Just players reminding each other they're out there.
Receipts for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with that.
Goodbye. That one is in the back. It's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. It's just, again, awkward landing.
Awkward landing, yeah. It's an awkward angle.
They're not the most forgiving board
no,
here in
Slough.
It's
very
either.
solid.
Jones tries to fire it through Ty Cathcart. Another good effort block there by the Bees D-man. Balaz over the blue line, forces the save from Munn. That one off the stick of the Cats D-man in front and up into the netting. Played them dead. 11:13 remaining in the third.
Yeah, good.
Here's the Shaw chance.
Shaw just
it is poked off the stick.
off his stick by Marcus Mitchell.
Yep.
Yeah, he couldn't. Not a lot that Shaw could do there. It was just a very, very good defensive player. Shaw tried to shovel it into what would have been a fairly open net, I think, if the stick hadn't got in.
Yep. It's going to be a difficult one for man of the match tonight. Yeah. Everyone loves a face-off being retaken.
Yeah.
Bees win the draw. Cats recover the puck, fired off the boards. Kelly intercepts before it gets to Malasinski. And just fires it into the opposite corner. Nell is back there. Balaz putting him under a little bit of pressure, nothing too difficult now. That one takes a lucky bounce off the stick of Balaz. Played up ice, that one will be icing.
A bit scrappy there just on the breakout from the Cats. Nell's pass, it was just a bit slow, I think. Not just Nell's pass, just the general, the breakout play was a little bit slow. Balaz did well to get a stick in and disrupt it as well and force an icing.
10:50 remaining in the third. Cathcart shot is blocked in front, I believe, off of the body of Wells that time. Goes behind. Thrown up ice again. Foot race to it. Icing waved off as Mogg gets there first. I would say perfectly weighted clearance as well there by Ryan Wells.
Yeah, forced Mogg to play that before it obviously reached the red line.
Bradley away from Balaz. Carries it over the blue line, stopped by Rose. And dispossesses him as well. Rose fired into the zone. Nags doesn't get there. Another foot race to the puck. This time Mitchell ahead of Malasinski again. Malasinski kicks it up the wall. Rose is there. Roman Cathcart there, holding up against the boards. Rose finds Nags, chips ahead. Stead will try and get round the Cats defenseman back there. Nags away from Wells, under pressure again now. Cats just able to get away for a split second. That pass wayward, little deflection on it as well. And all of a sudden it starts to get a little bit scrappy again.
Yeah.
Nags tries to find Stead, bounces over his stick. Bebris is there to collect as the icy call is waved off. Launched up ice. Cats take it from their own blue line. Shovel off the side. Billing to the front of the net. Right sees it late. Sees enough to kick it away from Sayers. Antonov finds Will Stead over the blue line. Tries to draw Bebris out of position. Stead with a shot. That goes wide. Cats the other way as we start to go end to end now. Thrown ahead by Sayers. He'll go to the bench. Cats get a change in his right. Plays the puck to Toombs. Toombs will carry it himself. Finds Antonov. He pushes it all ahead. Clues. Outmuscles Balaz for the puck. Cats once again thrown into the opposite corner. Heavy bounce off the boards, falls for Bullis. Shoveled down to Britnell. Britnell on the lap of the zone, fired through traffic, bouncing puck, cleared by Toombs. Antonov the other way. Kelly gingerly making his way back to the bench. Last thing the Bees need is another injury. Let's hope that's just winded him and he's okay.
Yes, indeed.
Thrown in front, cleared by the Cats. Nags gets bull rushed for the nicest possible way of saying it there. I should say Cathcart, sorry, by Britnell. Antonov, long stretch pass. Balaz goes towards goal. Nell sticks it away from net. Up to Pekozdi. Tries to find Malasinski. Lots of sticks in the lane there. Ty Cathcart clears it up ice. And ice will be called. And a small breather for everyone.
Yes, yeah, a couple of chances for both teams in that sequence. A good opportunity there for Britnell, and another very sharp save from Wright to keep the Canadian out.
Well, here's Jeff Stelling behind me, bringing me today's games. Peterborough 5 leads Knights 4 in the third. Hull 4, Solway 5 in the third. And Telford have tied it up 2-2 against the Lightning in the third. Nick Heimhook, the best a producer can get. Malasinski. Attempted pass blocked by Rose. Nell on the clean-up. Rose loses a stick on the little pick play. Nothing wrong with it. Cathcart gives it back to Malasinski. Pekozzi in front. Tries to force a shot. Only forces it wide of the goal on the wraparound attempt. Malasinski inside Cathcart. Ushered away from danger by Rose. Erskine picks him up on the other side. Throws it into the slot. Pekozzi can't get it under control on that occasion. Back to the blue line. Bradley Malasinski winds up, waits out any form of block, and Wright jumps on it at the second time of asking and holds on.
Yeah, good work from the Wildcats, just cycling in the zone, and Bukowski there just trying to force it wide into the corner, but just didn't have enough of an angle on the spin and just kind of dragged it wide. As again, good work from the D-man in front of him to tie the stick up.
Good from both teams. Obviously, Malasinski showing the patience to be able to wait anything out and not rushing the opportunity.
I mean, you'd expect that from Thomas Malasinski, but yeah, the Bees doing a really good job in around Max Wright of just getting sticks in.
Back to the blue line. Now we've said that, we know the inevitable is coming. That one saved by Wright, bouncing puck cleared. Collected by Billing, fired through traffic off the shoulder of Wright, and he'll hold on.
Wright, it just bobbles off the shoulder here from Wright as Billing rips a shot in, and again the D doing a good job of getting, I think it's Mitchell again doing a really good job of getting in front of Josh Shaw.
If in doubt, lay it out.
Yeah.
Face off won by the Bees. Antonov pushes it to Nags. Balance looks to start the rush. Puts the afterburners on, slaps one in from north of the blue line. Marr saves it. Antonov attempts to drop it down. Josh Shaw finds the blue line is rather slippy. Billing thrown into the zone. Shaw backhands it down to Billing. He's met by Nags in the corner. Finds his way back to Shaw. Tries to turn and fires the pass back, but misplays on that one. Balaz the other way. Gets the blue line, drops it off for Antonov. Able to get through some coverage. Balaz has been bundled down behind Marr into the goal. Still no whistle as Balaz tries to force his way out of the net.
He's also not got a helmet on at this point, which is...
He's getting back to the bench.
Again, we said it with the Wells one in the field. That's probably even worse because he's in the net with no helmet on.
Yeah.
At what point is player safety the issue here?
Common sense you'd like to see prevail at some point. As goodbye fires that one in on goal. Mara's had a little slash there on Will Stead. It's another angry shift. We'll call it that, shall we?
Like I say, I get you want to keep the game flowing and stuff, but you've got a guy. If that, let's just say that puck ends up in the net and it hits Balaj in the head with no helmet on.
Nick, do we know what happened with Marcel?
He just slid in and the helmet, his helmet came loose as he slid through the crease. He maybe got bundled.
Well, even Tyler Blues has that look of, what are we doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Hello?
Exactly, like, yeah. I think there is an element of just...
common sense.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you hope... Obviously, you hope that Rennie Marr, as a Swindon fan, you hope Rennie Marr makes a save. If he doesn't...
I mean, you've got four men with whistles there. One of them must see that and just overrule the others.
Yes.
Puck played up ice, right with a little trip up on Sayers as well. There, it's getting to that time of the night.
Yeah, it's getting chippy now.
5 minutes to go and a little bit of change. Bricknell carries it over the blue line, fakes the shot on Toombs. Toombs does a good job of forcing the Canadian round away from danger. Puck back to the blue line. Bradley. Down low. Sayers and Toombs again. Another good job by the young D-man. Rose will carry it over centre ice. And dumps it in as the Bees will change. Good from Rose there. Oh, sorry, from Roman Cathcart even on the back end. Just throwing the body around a bit. Cats up ice. Offside called as Godfrey. His momentum carries him over the blue line.
Yep. He just got...
Yeah, so there you go.
Blues just knocks him into the net and the helmet comes off.
He hits the post.
Yeah, Blues just tries to almost stop him as he comes into the crease. There's nothing in it.
No.
But again, it's just that question of how long can you allow the play to go on when the puck is going around the zone and you've got a guy with no helmet on.
In the goal.
Okay, which is, theoretically where they're going to be trying to get the puck to go.
Cats from their own blue line. That one blocked from Bradley by Balaz. Words are hard, okay? Cats get centre ice, but Cosdy gets there ahead of Cathcart. Good job by Ty. Again, Balaz only finds Malasinski shot in front. Wright makes the first save. Battling defence on both ends. And prevents any joy on the rebound. Bradley bundled down by Goodbye. Precosdy Bounces off Mog. The nicest way of saying it. Bees will try and get a change in, as will the Cats. Throwing up ice to Bradley. Right out of his net to play it. I do wish he'd be a bit more careful sometimes. Toombs.
I think that one was fine, I think.
Antonov plays that one. Bebris. Carried over the blue line by Bricknell. Toombs with another good break-up on that one. Bullis. Again, another good job by Preston Toombs. Rose finds Stead. Johnson fires that one into the zone, knuckling its way towards goal but wide. And Kelly helps it on its way. Bebris back to collect as we tick under 3 minutes to go. Thrown ahead. Toombs gets held up by Bullis. Back up to the blue line. Bricknell playing high, thrown down low. Bounces to Bebris. Kelly pokes it away from it. Cycled round, shot through traffic, blocked by Toombs. Right with an outrageous stop on Bullis.
That is a super save from back to right.
The cage at his mercy there for Bullis on the backhand.
Yeah, it's a really quick. It's a really quick glove from right, sprawling across his net.
What a save by the Canadian again. I feel it's something we say every week. 2.5 minutes to go here. Still tied up. Thanks to the Canadian Max Wright. Cats come away with the puck off the draw. Cross to Wells. Shot. Saved by Wright again. Malasinski. Mog for company. Goodbye. Able to collect the puck. Important loudly telling everyone nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Fair enough.
Tried, I think anyone was appealing for anything. Played up ice. Right out of his net to play. Mog only finds Malasinski. Fired cross ice. Bricknell, good touch. Takes it back to Wells. Bradley blocked in front by Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, yeah, I was going to say that was Chris Jones with the block there. Not a lot. I don't think he had any idea of where that puck was, to be fair.
Nope, saw it quite late as well. Held up down low as we took under 2 minutes. Good effort there again for Ty Cathcart. Playing up. Chance from Rose. That one takes deflection. Cats try and clear. Kept in by Cathcart. He turns the fires off the blocker of Marr. Cats clearance kept in by Kelly. Attempted shot off the skate of the first cat it sees, and Swindon will break the other way again. Bricknell nags with a good block. Roman Cathcart gets there ahead of Wells on that occasion, and it's cleared out the zone. Bebris back there. 70 seconds remaining. The goal for either side now is heartbreaking for either team.
Yeah, certainly is.
Puck shoveled ahead, icing called. Cathcart just playing that the wrong side of centre ice.
Exactly a minute to go.
Yep. 1 minute on the nose. Annika's getting the end of period graphic ready. I'm not sure it's 10-2. I think that might be a little off. Don't worry, Tom, it's on the right side for you. The keyboard's just died.
That's unfortunate.
I blame Nick.
Happens.
Face off won by the Cats. Clues through traffic, blocked in front by Rose. Rebound blocked as well. Puck loose. Missed by Malasinski with a cage at his mercy. That's something you don't see every day. Chance for the Cats again. Bebris slaps one in on goal. Malasinski collects the loose puck. Down low, Nell.
To be fair, I don't know how much Malasinski knew about it. I think it's hit him on the stick more than anything.
Billing loses out with Nags. The Cats bench wants a penalty. The Bees turn the puck over. The Bees are playing this dangerous game they played against Rumford the other week, trying to kill the clock and take the point. Nags under pressure from Billing. The Bees try and draw a penalty. There was nothing in that either. Malasinski, 3 men for company, draws a crowd. Billing hits the bar and off the netting. 15 seconds to go.
Well, that is could have gone either way. That Malasinski with the chance that's missed, just wide, and then Billing hits the bar. The Bees goal living a slightly charmed life on that shift, it has to be said.
Like I said, it would be heartbreaking.
It would be a heartbreaking moment for either team to not come away with a point out of this game. But yeah.
Bees need to win the draw here and not do what they did against Romford a few weeks ago and try and kill the clock out. Mogg just tries to clear it, and that is the best place for the puck. Nowhere near Max Wright.
Yeah,
Jake Bricknell plays it into the corner.
I think now you just hold the puck in that corner and run the clock, I think, for both teams.
Yep, 3, 2, 1, and we are getting bonus hockey on your Sunday night as the Bees battle hard, short bench and take a point. The Cats know they're getting at least 5 out of the weekend.
Which is not a bad effort, it has to be said, but I'm sure they would love 6. It has to be said.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we will go to overtime.
Yeah, certainly. It could have been a heartbreaking moment on a couple of those chances late on for the Cats there. With like I say, Malazinski's effort going across the face of goal from the edge of the blue paint, and then Glenn Billing with 15 seconds to go, pinging one off the crossbar.
So, 5 minutes 3-on-3 as we wait for the minute timeout, well, mini timeout between the periods to go. As, well, I've lost a computer screen. Nick, are we still live?
There we go. We're back, we're all good.
We're all good. 5 minutes, 3-on-3. Here we go. The Cats, Bricknell on the ice. Billing, and I believe Thomas Malasinski. For the Bees, Mogg, Antonov and Balaz. I imagine picking the 3-on-3 lines for the Bees is a lot easier than picking them for Swindon this week.
Yeah.
Here we go.
It's certainly a...
It was Bebris.
I was about to say, surely there's a D-man out there somewhere. Eddie Bebris is there.
And there still isn't. Eddie Bebris is there. He's a forward.
Now.
I will die on this hill.
Yep.
Billing drops it off for Bebris. Over the blue line. Antonov with a good stick lift on him there. Prevents that breakout. Antonov fired cross ice. Where Stuart Mogg is the furthest player north for the Bees. Antonov steps inside Bricknell. Fires a shot. That's kicked away by Marr. Pass to Antonov from Balance as Mogg goes to the bench. He's replaced by Kelly. Bebris takes the puck away from Antonov. Bricknell pins Balaz to the boards. Cats will look to try and get a change in. Billing.
At least some of a change.
Yep.
A couple of guys.
Goodbye and Stead for Antonov and Balaz.
Wells, Nell and Malazinski on for the Cats now.
Yep. See, teamwork. We're doing it together here, folks.
Yep.
Nell drops it off for Malazinski. Good block there by Lee Young.
That is not.
Instead, completes the job.
Didn't help the Cats break out there, it has to be said, but it happens. The referees are part of the playing surface.
Yep. Stead gets past Nell. Thankfully for our Nell, having a 9-foot-long stick, he's able to poke the puck away from him for a second. Drops it off Josh Kelly, in on goal. Kelly with a shot, saved by Marr. That goes off the post and across the over the line. Not over the line, across the line, that's the word. Nick, get your replay ready. Cats over the blue line. Malasinski, lovely toe drag round one. Bobbling puck, right with a save. That one goes wide of the goal. Back to Malasinski again. Wells will take it out the zone. 3:10 to go in overtime.
Don't you love 3-on-3 overtime hockey?
No, that next question. Wells on the back end.
Jones over
Jones allowed to get up to speed. One man to beat. He gets around Antonov. Takes on a lap of the zone. Drops it off for Pecosdi. Nags for company. Nags, Rose, Antonov, Bradley, Pecosdi, Jones for the Cats as Bradley takes it back over the blue line. Chances at either end. Bradley runs into a wall. Offside called as Jones can't get back. Nick, over to you. Here's the one. No, is this the one on Marr? think this is going to be the... No, this is just the offside. There we go.
Here we go.
Here it is.
Kelly
in on goal.
Off the post
and
out.
Off the post and rolls away from goal as opposed to in.
I mean, 3-on-3 does give you those weird scenarios of Josh Kelly being the guy in the front of the net, having to make a deke. It's not his natural habitat, it has to be said.
Bees win the
good effort, though.
Yes, Bees win the draw. They've loaded up this unit. Balaz, Goodbye and Mog.
I mean, he couldn't come much closer there, Josh Kelly, to winning the game.
Cats the other way. Bricknell at speed. He's going to try and draw Mog. Lovely toe drag for Bricknell. Can't get a shot away. Bricknell, Bebris, Billing. Speaking of Billing, he's on the puck now. Balaz for company. Once again, he'll turn away. Reset. Bricknell carries it back. Loses the handle. Nothing dangerous there. Bricknell plays it up ice. No one there. Right out of his net to play it. Mog with a mishandle on that one. Nell not close enough to make any sort of danger on that check. Well, any use of the mishandle. Nell. Offside called again, this time on Malasinski as he has a coming together with Marcel Balaz.
Yeah, I think Malasinski lost an edge, I think, and just slid into the offensive zone.
1:44 before we have to mention that dreaded penalty shootout.
I mean, I'm sure both teams really wanted overtime tonight. You know, the Wildcats having played 3 in 3 nights, and the Bees being down to 13 skaters.
Yeah,
you know, having to play an extra 5 minutes 3-on-3 is what everybody wanted on those benches. I think there's going to be some tired bodies tonight.
I'm sure they're not tired at all. Nell over the blue line, drops it off for Wells. Antonov for company. Another good poke check by Antonov. Wells battles back to get the puck away. Kelly will make sure Malasinski can't get out of that corner easily. Kicked ahead. Wells tries to find Nell. Foot race. Will Stead is going to win that every day of the week. Stead into the final minute. Stead tries to get a shot. Good work from Nell on the back check. Makes up for the, should we say, speed disadvantage. Right, fires it up to Will Stead. Cats do get a change in. Stead tries to play it to Antonov. Antonov shoves it into the zone. Marr covers up for a second and then lets go of it. As he's allowed to. Cats the other way. It's 2-on-2. It's 1-on-1. It's Ed Bradley. It's wide. Bricknell collects the rebound. No one's picking up Bradley as he goes to the front of the net. Bricknell bumped off the puck by Balaz. 23 seconds to go. Bricknell gets out of a jam, loses an edge, still has the puck. Kelly collects it. 13 seconds. No one going in yellow. Antonov to Balaz. Loses the handle, still with it. Antonov's offside. It's going to a shootout. After 60 minutes, after what feels like numerous chances in all 4 periods, it's now time for the National Lottery.
Yep, we're going to a shootout. I mean, there were a couple of really good chances for both teams in that overtime period. Obviously, Bricknell had one. Kelly had the one down that end. Bradley. It was actually a very clever play that by Rennie Marr, because I guess he realised the Cats had got the change and the Bees hadn't. The Cats had the fresh legs, and a freeze would have allowed the Bees to make the change as well. So get the breakout, and it almost paid off. But the D-man again just tying up Ed Bradley, preventing him from getting a clean shot, and it goes wide of the net.
So first shootout of the year here in the hangar. Best of 5.
Yep.
I want to say.
Yeah, best of 5.
Shots on goal for the third, I think I've just heard, was 7 on Marr and 20 on Wright, and then 1 apiece. So I jokingly said to you this morning before the game that Max Wright was making 69 saves tonight. I wasn't far off. He's on 54.
Not bad. Aaron Nell looks like he's going to take the first penalty shot for the Cats.
Aaron Nell up first. Speaking of rules that seem to have gone out of the game, Rennie Marr is currently in the net at the Cats end.
I think on this rule you're allowed to either be in the net or by the bench. Yeah. You can't be anywhere else.
Yeah.
As long as you're stood in the net, you're all right.
So Aaron Nell up first for the Wildcats. And that's a big blocker save by Max Wright. Dominic, goodbye. So we go player coach to player coach.
I mean, I feel like probably the shootout list is probably a bit easier for the Bees tonight.
Yeah.
With the
well, after 13, we just go around.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Steps up. And that one's off the pad of Mar. We could be here sometime.
It's Bricknell now for the Cats.
Jake Bricknell, he's definitely got the hands. We've seen it a couple of weeks ago in the Goals of the Week list.
Yeah.
Here's another chance for him. You've got to think he's looking forehand.
Yeah, you'd assume so.
Has Max Wright done his homework? Yes, he has.
It's a good save again by Wright. Just tracking the puck across.
The Bees trying to find who they put for second.
It's Marcel Ballas. Again, maybe not surprising.
Nope. You never know, he might have done the Ronaldo thing of back himself to go last.
Yeah, as always. I mean, yeah, you assume that your first three probably these three.
Ballas taking the slowly approach. And Renimar has all day to see it.
Yeah, a bit of a weird move, that one, I would say, from Ballas. He went very wide and then tried the quick shot to maybe try catch Mar out sleeping, but...
Ryan Wells up number 3 for the Wildcats. Again, another man who had a couple of chances. Yep. It's good to see he's up and all right, though. Yep. Bearing down on goal. And another big save from Max Wright.
The poke check coming out there from Wright as well. Tries to get the move onto the forehand and tuck it away.
That's all right. Just has to go 15 rounds, then he gets his 69 saves. Vanya Antonov, shooter number 3 for the home side. And he misses the goal entirely. Mar does a good job of taking away all the angles.
Yep. Glenn Billing.
He's got 1 on the night. I don't think he'll be going for that move in the shootout, though.
Yep. Well, I think we know who's going stiff for the Cats then.
He is someone who likes scoring in this rink. And now he doesn't have any nasty defenders in the way. Glenn Billing is up before it, though. And that's another save for Max Wright.
It's a good move from Billing. He tries to just tuck it 5-hole. We've seen him do that a couple of times in shootouts over the last year or so with the Cats, and it's a big stop.
Will Stead, shooter number 4.
Who's got the nerves?
Who's got the moves at the moment? Stead will go straight between the hash marks and fires it through Rennie Mar.
Now the Cats have to score.
If ever there was a man who thrives on pressure for the Wildcats, it's the man who's just stepped foot on the ice. Thomas Malasinski, shooter number 5, has to score.
It's a good penalty shot from Stead, just waited him out. I guess there's almost an advantage here. You probably haven't seen a Will Stead penalty shot move much if you're Rennie Mar.
Here we go, Malasinski or Max. He's got the right stuff, and the Bees win it in a shootout, 3-2. $69, it wasn't far off, 59. Yeah. And you can see how much that means to the home side.
Okay, obviously that's a huge win when you're short bench. It's a bad run of, a bad run of form recently with, a run of defeats. To hold out. Max Wright, he did it against the Leeds Knights here. He's done it against the Swindon Wildcats. He's just made the big saves when they count, when they matter. And yeah, it's a. I think the Wildcats won't be too disappointed given it's a 5 points out of 6 for the weekend. It's always going to be tough to get a 6-point weekend when you've got to play those 3 and 3. Obviously they'll be a little disappointed. They'll have felt they could have maybe won this game. They had a couple of big chances late on in that game, but yeah, I think when you get to a shootout, you said it's a bit of a lottery. It depends who's got the nerve, and Will Stead made a good play on that penalty shot. He just waited Mar out and found the 5-hole.
Will Stead fires one past Mar, and big game Max decides to go for 59 on the night. We'll have the man of the match presentations shortly. You just hear Alan Wilson trying to get on the ice below us.
Bless him.
As we just wait for this all to die down. Man of the matches are going to follow. For one team, a lot of it a bit of an easier choice than the others. I think you can. It's one of those things that always sounds cringy when you say it. You could pick a lot of players for the Bees. Let's do it to the whole team, but no.
That's been done before.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
No.
Charlotte Raby is doing man of the match presentations, I see.
Yes, you're welcome, Charlotte. You're not going to see this bit because it never makes the highlights, but you're welcome. She's doing it for the away team. And no, she's not meeting Eddie Beveris. I don't care if it's a shirt sponsor. No. Man of the match for the Swindon Wildcats, as Danny Purchase always makes it take quite a long time, is number 24, Tyler Plews.
Yeah, he had a very, very solid game in his own end tonight.
Defensive battle for both teams.
Yes.
I mean, also, again, you can make a load of picks for the Cats as well, but Plews shut down a lot of Bees' chances when they had them.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Tyler Plews is one of those players. He's not flashy.
No.
He's solid. He's physical. He makes those big plays in his own end, and you can rely on him to play minutes. And yeah, that's what he did tonight. He played big minutes, and he was. You know, he was obviously up against the Bees' top line a lot because the Bees' top line had to be out there a lot. And yeah, he did a really good job for the most part of keeping the guys like Balaj and Gabai pretty quiet, you know, for the most part. You know, him and Eddie Beveris are a very, very good defensive pairing at this level, and it's he was one of a typical solid Tyler Plews performance tonight.
Yeah, well, Cats fans, obviously the Cats have gone for their lap of honour. Thank you for joining us here this evening. If you're watching at home, like some of you are, I know, Mark, hi. And obviously the ones in the rink, you are back here on Sunday the 2nd of March, because why have a game that's a bit closer than that? 6 o'clock here at the rink, if you could make it for that one. If not, it's being live on the stream, 5:15. Tom will be joining me, because he always is for those games, because it's nice and easy for him.
Yeah.
Plus, it's also nice and easy for me, because it means I've got someone to commentate with. Obviously, the Bees do make 2 trips to Swindon before that. I've got to try and work out when my next trip is there. As you can imagine, it's a bit difficult at this time of year. Man of the match for the Bees. We changed our pick about 4 times here, but I think after 5 saves in the shootout, 54 in regulation and overtime, you can't not give it to Max.
It's hard to argue, really. I know there was a couple of, we had a look at a couple of the D-men there.
Right, we'll go through it now before we praise Max. Preston Toombs, outstanding. Marcus Mitchell, outstanding. Ty Cathcart, outstanding. Ollie Nag, just the entire defensive unit, outstanding.
You could have given it to any of them, but yeah, I think
Dan Rose, brilliant as well.
It's hard. Max Wright, particularly in those late stages, made some huge saves. Obviously, and in the shootout, but particularly late in that third period, he made 3 or 4 really, really big stops to prevent, the game being lost in the end.
He really can't throw hats over Plexi though. Right, we've got to stop doing this.
Well, he can't be good at everything.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. He's pretty close. But yes, no, an outstanding defensive performance from the Bees tonight. We said it all night, 13 plus 2, no problem. The score finishes 3-2 in the shootout, thanks to Will Stead getting the game winner. Tom, thank you for joining me, obviously, here tonight. I know, obviously, it's not the result you would have wanted, but you always have a fun night when you're here with me. Yeah. Nick's obviously had a fun night because he gets to press his favourite button in a minute. We are back here next Sunday, 6 o'clock face-off again. Tom is joining me for this one as well, as we welcome the Milton Keynes Lightning to town. I'm sure Tom won't say anything controversial about the Lightning. It's the first time he has to commentate them, and he's been on his best behaviour for the last year. So let's hope that continues.
No, I did a pre-season game.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. I'm always just tentative when it comes to Lightning
That's
games because you never know with you.
No, they're my favourite team in the league.
Are they now?
Yeah.
Okay, fair
Other
enough.
than the Wildcats.
Yes.
They're my second favourite team.
Well, we're back on the live stream 5:15 next Sunday, 6 o'clock face-off. From me, from Tom, from Nick. Thank you. We'll see you next week. And Nick, punch it, Chewy.